Orlando.
Welcome to the OZone.
Welcome to the OZone.
Welcome to the OZone. Welcome to the OZone.
The voice of Magic fans.
Welcome back to another episode of the OZone podcast, the voice of Magic fans, episode 16. What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
How's it going?
What's happening?
Just to do a quick little roll call in the studio today, we have Al,
What's up?
Mark,
Here.
Justin,
Yo.
Whit,
What's happening?
and myself, Anthony. And this week is All-Star Weekend Special.
All-Star Weekend.
All-Star Weekend Special in Chicago.
Fun part of the year.
Fun part of the year.
Fun
So
part of the
this is less than 15 hours since the big ordeal out in Chicago that we're going to talk about in a few moments. But before we jump into that, because I know that we all want to dive in and kind of get it off our chest a little bit. What are some of your all-time favorite All-Star memories?
So I'm not even going to lie. This happened a few years ago, but my favorite is going to have to be the AG dunk versus Zach LaVine. When it usually comes to the All-Star break, I mean, it's exciting, but it's nothing too wow for me all the time.
Right.
Because we see the same thing almost every year, right? When it came to that dunk contest, we saw a lot of things that we never seen before, and that was an absolute showdown. Besides the Dominique Wilkins and MJ showdown, that would have to be my favorite part. Just that showdown of we're seeing dunks we actually never seen before, all in one dunk contest. So that has to be my favorite memory.
You know what stood out about that same dunk contest is that it seemed as if nobody knew what they were doing after.
That's what that was the excitement.
After we went after those rounds, it was kind of like,
What's next?
We got a 50, you got a 50. What do we do then? And I was a little disappointed. Again, we're going to talk about it in a few minutes, but I kind of felt like, all right, that happened. So this time you got to be way more prepared, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just didn't feel that way. But what are some other All-Star memories?
But I'm going to piggyback on the slam dunk contest thing. I started dunking at a young age, and then we would see the slam dunk competition and then go to the court and try to replicate those dunks. And my favorite memory is when Isaiah Ryder went between the legs for the first time. And we like, oh, this is the craziest dunk ever. We tried that and tried it. I could never do it. But I've seen many players try it. They still couldn't do it until more recently.
It's got to be Vince Carter for me. The dunk contest 2000, especially the first dunk. When he first threw down the 360 windmill. To this day, it's just the one dunk that just makes me...
That set a new standard.
Oh, my goodness. Like, I watched it just the other night. They had it playing on NBA TV. And it just looked... just the way it looks, it's just a beautiful thing. So that contest for me did it. In second place will have to be when Vince Carter gave his spot to Michael Jordan back in 2003 for his last All-Star game. I don't think nobody in this generation would have done that. Vince Carter really said, I was a top vote getter. MJ, you deserve it. So those are the two moments for me that take that spot.
So for me, it was actually recent, and this was, not something that most people would remember as like a super crazy highlight. But Nate Robinson versus Dwight when Nate Robinson won. To me, that was probably my favorite because at the time I was a Knicks fan, and Nate Robinson was always one of those guys that I was like, how could he do those things when he's, at his height? He's like, 5'8.5", I think. So to beat Superman, well, the new Superman, I would say, was pretty impressive. But Nate Robinson was one of those guys that he literally could jump with some of the best guys in the league. And he was 5'8". Like that, even just saying that now is crazy. But yeah, that was probably my favorite.
And what was interesting about that slam dunk contest is that one, Nate Robinson wore all green to kind of symbolize the whole kryptonite versus Superman. And then also he jumped over his competition. Like he jumped over Dwight Howard. You're going against Dwight Howard. So the fact that Dwight was open enough to allow for that to happen, because you have to know, all right, if Nate Robinson dunks over me,
that's a wrap.
That's it for me. So that definitely is a good one. I think for me was the Trace McGrady is my guy. So his off the backboard All-Star slam dunk back in 2002 is a big one for me. Just because it's one of those things that you really haven't seen. He threw it off the backboard. Dirk Nowitzki saw the ball, hit the backboard, and then it bounced off. And then at that point it was too late. Move out of his way. So Trace McGrady off the backboard is dope. He ended up doing it. I want to say it was that same season in game. And then Vince Carter, I'm not sure if it was the year after.
Vince did it the year after, I think. Yeah.
I mean, and AG did it this year, right, against the Lakers.
Yeah, but that wasn't that. I mean, it was nice, but it wasn't.
It wasn't
T-Mac
the
or
same, but
Vince,
it was
like-
still, in my
Replicated.
opinion, yeah, like an iteration of that type of dunk.
Yeah, no, but that T-Mac one was a classic.
Yeah.
But should we jump into it?
Let's do it.
Let's jump
do it.
into it.
Let's
So,
jump in.
Going straight through the numbers real quick. So our record right now currently is 24-31. We are holding the 8th seed in the East with 2 games behind the, I almost said the New Jersey Nets, the Brooklyn Nets. Our offense points per game, 103.9, which has us 29th in the league. 3-point percentage, 33.7, which has us 27th. Offensive rating, 105.5, that has us 27th in the league. Defensively, points allowed, 105.4, still leading first in the league. Blocks, 5.8, which has us 5th. And defensive rating, 107.4, which has us at 7th. So the 2 games before the All-Star weekend, very first one was against Atlanta, which was a 135-126 win. And then that Wednesday after against Detroit, 116 and 112. Now, we were at that game for Atlanta, which was Vince Carter's last game here in Central Florida. And we had pretty good seats.
We had an amazing time.
We had really good seats. Food, drinks included. Got to meet some of the players. What would you say were some of the highlights from a fan perspective of investing that much in what we paid for it in the tickets and being as close as we were?
So I would say having the ultimate seats, right,
Yeah.
at the Amway, those were really incredible. I think it's one of those opportunities to kind of see a little bit more of the Amway Center from a different perspective than you would normally see. I think if interacting with the players, trying to talk to them, have things signed, autographed, if those are things that you want to do, this, it allows you the opportunity to do that. And it also, in the Fields Lounge, you get food, drinks, all type of stuff. It kind of also allows you the opportunity to kind of mingle with other Magic fans, and kind of just see, kind of talk, see what each other's perspective is. One of my highlights of it was having Evan Fournier sign my jersey.
Oh yeah,
All of it.
You're blushing right now.
Yeah,
You're
I'm blushing
blushing right now.
His cheeks are touching the tips of his eyebrows.
Yeah, everyone knew that was kind of a special moment for me, because I am a Fournier fan, and just being able to have him sign my jersey was pretty cool. But the guys, I would say most of the players, at least the ones that we saw, interacted with the fans. Everybody was super cool.
Now,
Everybody
you said
was
most of
willing
the
to
players.
interact.
Are you talking about who are you leaving out when you say most of the players?
So Evan and Vooch were probably the most interactive
Yeah.
with the fans, which I thought was really cool to see.
But
One of the guys that I thought would interact with the fans, just because he is one of the more popular guys on the team, was Aaron Gordon, but that didn't happen. He actually didn't entertain any of the fans. There were multiple people trying to talk to him, shake his hand, get things signed, and he, ran by the first time, went to go do his shoot around, which is totally fine. He's focused. But on the way back, he really didn't even look in the direction of the fans, completely ignored everyone who was there. And I felt like that was a little bit, I don't want to say out of character, because I don't want to judge his character, but I feel like in that situation, every other player interacted with the fans. At least every other player that ran through the tunnel at that time.
Yeah.
And he wasn't one of them.
My beef with AG was he told a little kid, "I'll get you on the way back," and you just walk by and saw the kid, and they didn't even acknowledge him. So
Yeah.
same thing. I mean, but again, other than that, great time. You guys know I'm a Vince Carter fan. Got to watch his last game. I'm debating going to Toronto for his last game, April 12th, I think it is. So I'm debating going there. It's his final time in Toronto.
I told you I'd go if you do go.
I'll let you know. But other than that, I got really up close. We got to see him, shook his hand. Didn't get the picture that I wanted with Vince, but I know it's coming. He'll be retiring and living in Orlando, so the day will come. But amazing time. I mean, just hanging out with you guys. We got to witness us win that game. It was a really fun game to watch. It was a 3-point barrage in the second half, especially. James Ennis, amazing energy, his first game, couple of nice dunks. So just being there with you guys, great seats, great food, great drinks. It was a great time for sure.
I think from a fan's perspective, we kind of are critical on our players, right? And I feel the players that I've personally been most critical of have been Evan Fournier and Nikola Vucevic, and they were the nicest ones, 100%. You know, I brought a flag with me that said F the rest, and then of the U of the F was an Orlando Magic logo. So it was a creative logo or creative flag. So they were cool enough to sign it. AG ran by, and he was like, nah, I'm not. I was like, AG, sign my flag. He's like, nah, I'm not signing that. You know, which isn't a big deal, right? Because I get it. You know, he's been in the league for how long? It's been 4 or 5 seasons now.
Six seasons.
6 seasons,
yes.
right? So it's the same thing every single day during the whole. You know, you try and get focused for the game, whatever the case may be. You want to get out there, just in and out. I get it, but for me, it doesn't bother me. But for anyone that might be their first game, might be a young kid, whatever the case may be, I can see where that could really make an impact.
And not only that, but like you're paying a lot of money to get the opportunity, right? So one thing I've learned is I've seen Steph Curry many times, and that's now the guy that I watched the most, other than Vince Carter. Now he's older. And one thing with Steph Curry is he'll stop by and sign everyone's jersey, sneaker, including my own last year. And that has been, to me, an amazing thing to watch. And that's why Steph is so well liked by fans. Is because he is the superstar of the NBA. He's a 3-time NBA champion. He's the MVP. He's the guy that everybody's looking at. And yet he's doing that. So I understand the Aaron Gordon thing. It's an everyday thing. But that's for every NBA player.
Yeah, but that's also Steph Curry's brand. Steph Curry's brand is to be the good boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the good kid where, you know, any other kid that, you know, likes to play basketball, they can see themselves being on the court because Steph Curry isn't 6'9", 270 pounds and jump out of the gym. You know, he's 6'4" point guard that can dribble, can shoot lights out, and could really be anyone imagining to be him.
Can you think of any other sport that has as much access to players than the NBA? The fans are right next to the court, on the court, and there's interaction through the whole game. I've been to a lot of pro sport events, and the players do a great job of interacting with fans more so than any other sport I can think of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, baseball, spring training usually, but not as much during the season. But yeah, the NBA is special in that sense.
For me in that game, one thing that really stuck out to me is listening to the player conversation throughout the game. Even when it came to them talking on defense, communicating with each other. I know some of you guys remember there was some fans sitting in front of us that were trying to get under the skins of Dwayne Dedmon and Trae Young.
Fun.
I thought it was pretty close to hear that.
The full fourth quarter, Dwayne Dedmon was focused on those 3 guys.
Yeah.
They were just talking smack to him to the point that the ushers came up to them and told him, yo, relax a little bit.
They were going at him, man.
But every single time he shot, if he made the shot, he was looking right at them. I'm not talking about they went back and forth for a good little minute. They had quite a few exchange, which is it's kind of ironic that he took it so close to heart because, you know, he had good experiences here in Orlando. So you know, it was fun to watch.
But it kind of want
to see that competitiveness.
Yeah, it felt like he was kind of taking it a little personal,
Too personal,
which is cool. And I think being able to say where we sat, it gives you a different perspective, right? Because on TV you see everything that happens on the court,
but you can't feel it.
But you can't feel it, and also you don't see how the fans really impact what's going on the court.
True.
And through these seats.
And I think we noticed that night. That was pretty cool.
That's my favorite part of going to the games, is talking smack. Might get a shoemake from talking smack. You never know.
Yeah.
But so following Wentz's game against Detroit Saturday, which was yesterday, we're recording today on Sunday, the slam dunk contest. So Aaron Gordon dunk contest performance that we just had was people already saying an instant classic. So first question, do you think that this dunk contest was better than the 2016 dunk contest?
No,
not even close.
No.
It was up there, but it wasn't better. No.
Would you say that you would put it up there as one of the best slam dunk contests in general?
No.
3rd, 4th, maybe my list.
AG's
3rd,
performance
4th all
was up
time.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to head to head.
The thing is, man, like the dunks these guys are doing these days, you can't compare them to like even the MJ era. Like I watched the Kobe dunk contest in '96 the other night on NBA TV. He won it with a between the legs dunk, and people were going crazy. A simple between the leg dunks. That's what won Kobe that contest. If Kobe would have done the same thing this year, he would have not even made the finals. So my thing is, you can't compare past to present. These guys are doing insane stuff, jumping over tackle fall. They're doing between the legs over people. So if you watch the 80 dunk contest, 90 dunk contest, and compare it to what we just watched,
Right.
it's different. So in creativity wise, I think it's one of the best dunk contests I've ever seen.
But you know what? It's one of the big differences that you'll find is back then you had real legitimate judges. You had
Yes, that is
the
true.
Dr. J's, the Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordan, whatever the case may be. You had actual NBA players that have physically dunked in a game, right? And we're talking about elite players, not celebrities, not someone that kind of played but kind of didn't. Like there was actual people that we had that were, had the credentials to be able to judge in a slam dunk contest.
That's true.
And I think that was the most controversial part of that dunk contest is that right off the bat, the judges, I don't know, man. I feel like they were just handing out 10s like it was nothing. Obviously, Twitter and social media had a lot to critique with these judges. This is, I don't know, for us, I think this is a part of get it out of your chest part because, I mean, you had D-Wade, who's a former teammate of Jones Jr.,
So we
giving
all
him
watch
10s
it.
like it's nothing.
Yeah, we all watched it together last night at Wade's house.
There's a lot of
What's the first thing I told you,
frustration on
Justin?
this.
We're sitting together. I'm like, wait, time out. Wade is judging this, and what if Jones makes the finals? Like, it's not gonna be fair. And what happened? Like I said that on his second dunk when he passed Connington to go to the finals. Connington missed the finals by 1 point, by the way.
Yeah.
Who gave him a 7? Dwayne Wade did. So I'm like, it's just not a fair system. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And on top of that, the Black Panther dude, like, I don't know, like, why are you
Chadwick
there?
Boseman.
Why is coming there? Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make any sense to me. You had courtside Dr. J, Dominic Wilkins, Shaquille O'Neal. Like, put those guys to be the judges. Those are the guys that have the credentials to be judging dunks. Not for nothing. And also the whole conversation thing back and forth between the judges. That's now how it's supposed to be.
Everybody wanted to see who everybody else
Yeah,
scored on
you
first.
see a dunk, you threw it down, lift something up. It's a 10, 9, or 8, whatever it is. Don't be talking to each other. What are you doing? At 8? Okay, I'm going to do an 8 too.
Look at the
No.
players on
It
the
was
side
ugly
of the
last night,
court.
very ugly.
When they're jumping up, running out, that tells you that's something special that took place, right? So when he did that 360 off the side of the backboard for Markel,
One hand.
that was an incredible dunk. But I think the real issue is, like, as fans, Magic fans, we take this personally against us, against our organization, against the city, and feel disrespected because I think there's some deep rooted feelings that we feel disrespected for a long time in Orlando.
This happened twice, Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, you could see even we have officiating issues that happened in New York recently. We've had issues with shot clocks in Detroit in the playoffs. You know, we can go through lists and lists and lists of injustices, and and we tend to give it a pass. But I don't think. I think now we're like enough's enough, and things can be said, and the world is seeing that.
So I think one of the issues is that the judges were scoring it all over the place, right? I think that there were certain dunks that probably were maybe 8s, even 7s, and they were giving them 10s.
Yeah.
Right? So like I don't want to point out certain players, but I think in Pat Connaughton's first dunk, that was not a 50, right? I think when you give somebody who doesn't deserve a 50 and it's 10s across the board, right, for a simple dunk, like Dwight Howard when he put the cape on.
Yeah, that
right?
was not a 40,
that was,
whatever, 9.
Yeah.
It was.
So then when you have somebody like AG catching the ball from the side of the backboard off of a Markel pass, right, and he 360s in the air, that to me is a 50. Because as soon as he slammed that, everybody was like, "Oh my god!" Like that was something you've never seen before.
And it wasn't even just a 360. Like he did the 360, but he caught it with
One hand.
extended it, did the 360, brought the ball downwards, upwards. Like it is the most insane thing. And granted, we've seen it before. That's a dunk
With
that he
stuff.
did with stuff when he was on the hoverboard.
You gotta hold on to the ball.
But this time he did it off of alley-oop off the side of the backboard that he had to time
Perfectly.
And to make it even worse is Dwayne Wade. He was the first one to say, "Oh, he got to do on the first. He gets one mess up. That's it. He has to get up, and then he
was
knocks it
targeting
down.
him.
Everyone goes crazy."
He was targeting him.
I think realistically there was maybe 2 50 dunks, like 2 dunks that made you go, "Wow, that's impressive. I've never seen that."
My
before.
thing is like
And they were both from AG.
And they were both from AG.
Once AG did that 360 dunk on the backboard, that was a 60, right? then the stakes go higher. So now Jones can come back and do between the legs and get a 50 because he did that 3 times in a row, 4 times in a row. That was a turning point to me. Like when Vince did that 360 windmill back in 2000, and then he did a off the sideline windmill, and Kenny Smith said, "I gave him a 9 because his first dunk was so good." That's what I expected. Like AG took it to the next level, judged the next dunks the same way, and they didn't.
So I think the problem is that as the judges, if you're giving out 50s like they're fucking candy, it's impossible to really differentiate between what is great and what is better. I'm not saying that Derrick Jones had bad dunks. They weren't bad. They were super athletic. He did impressive dunks. But if you're giving that a 50, right, there's no doubt in my mind that Aaron Gordon jumping over somebody who is 7'6", having a jogging or a trotting start from the 3-point line is more impressive than Derrick Jones Jr. doing a windmill dunk 2 feet inside of the free throw line. But they gave him a 50, right? You can't go higher than that. I think that they need to change the rules. If it's the final round, 50 should be like, wow, that was a great dunk. But if you do something that is better than the 50 that the other guy just got, they should be able to give an extra point and say, you know what? That was a 50, but this was something different.
I think go back to decimals. Back in the old days, they would do 95.5, 97 point whatever.
Right.
Like, just go decimals and figure something out. But, man, that tackle fall dunk at the end, there's no way in hell that is at 47 in anyone's eyes.
I think people also forget, like, AG had a dunk running from the baseline, right? Jumped over a dude, grabbed the ball, turned around in the air after jumping over the dude.
behind him.
Slammed it. Like,
with the ball cuffed.
The amount of body control, the amount of strength that it takes, like,
his shoulders were at the rim.
I don't understand.
Right? Like, AG, man, credit is due for those dunks.
Aaron Gordon is the best dunk contest participant to ever compete.
And this is where the issue comes in, right? So from 2016, we ran into this exact same problem. Where do we go from here? This has to eventually end, and somebody has to win. I agree with the fact that there should be one winner only.
Right.
Somebody has to be decided and crown a winner. Don't duel it. So the belief was that, and this is something that you had retweeted earlier, and this is something that was broken down by at Worldwide Wob, that he broke down the video of the reactions, right? So he got to the point that, all right, cool, 50-50. All right, now we have to really give it a score. And collectively, the belief is that they all collectively agreed to tie it up again. But one person messed that up. And I think it was Ramona Shelburne that said that Common, one of the judges, said that somebody didn't follow the plan. And I'm not going to say who,
and
but
Candace
somebody.
Parker also said the same thing.
So it was Scottie Pippen, because to make it a tie, 2 people had to put a 9.
Right.
Scottie Pippen put the 9. You had Black Panther that put 9.
Chadwick Boseman, yeah.
Thank you. and then you had Dwayne Wade. So what ended up happening is when Dwayne Wade put the 9, he wasn't supposed to put the 9. He put the 10. And the minute that he put that 9, he took off his earpiece. He started laughing. He walked away. And the 4 of them looked at Dwayne Wade like, dude, what did you just do?
Yep. And the belief was that it was going to come down to now the judges just picking the best dunker, period. It wasn't going to be another dunk. It was going to be, hey, just pick the best dunker, write it down, lift it up. And that didn't happen. Wade just...
I think based on the eye test, Aaron Gordon won.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Based on crowd reaction, Aaron Gordon won.
Yeah.
Right.
Based on creativity, Aaron Gordon
And
won.
based on what you see on Twitter today, like, it's going off. And my phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Like,
It's only one
insane.
person that's on the side of Derrick Jones. Skip Bayless. I haven't seen anybody else that
But Skip Bayless, he's only doing that for
clicks.
clickbaits, for attention, because he's the only one, and he's on a debate show. So what's going to end up happening? He's going to take that side, and then the other person going to take the other side.
Yeah.
So one of the things that kind of irked me a lot was Derrick Jones, completely, because he goes on to say that there's no way I should have gotten a 48. AG clipped Taco's head, so they couldn't have given him a 50 for that one. So the first point is, dude, you put your whole entire hand on Bam's shoulder and you got a 50 for it. No, he didn't get a 50. He got a 48, I believe.
Yeah.
So you're saying that that's not the way it worked for AG, but that's the way it works for you. So what ended up happening is AG is now forced to create a dunk out of nowhere. If you take a look at the replay, I posted this on Twitter earlier. If you take a look at the replay, initially Aaron Gordon wanted to jump over Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
But Shaq is a hater.
Well, Shaq was also videotaping, which he was
That's
videotaping
not
from
a-
the
that's not
censorship.
a-
But yes, he is a hater. But it would have been a really good view if he would have did it. Anyways, Shaq said no. So everyone saw that he was asking for Shaq. Shaq said no. Everyone started, pointing at Taco. Granted, Taco's UCF from Orlando, the whole nine. So it was perfect. They brought Taco out. Aaron Gordon cleared him. And what really hit him is the fact that Taco Fall is 7'5". He had his hand up. So when Aaron Gordon jumped over him, his hand kind of nudged his inner thigh. And it's not his head. It was his hand on top of his head. So, okay, he didn't fully clear him at 7'5". He's 7'5". So he cleared 7'3".
And he
7'2".
He did it on two
With
steps.
2 steps
And
and 2 hands.
2 steps, 2 hands after 5 dunks.
That's your waist higher than the door jamb, by the way.
Right.
Dude, just
Right.
saw the picture where they have the reactions and Taco
Every
at the end.
celebrity, anyone that was in the background, every player, their jaw was on the ground.
Yes. You saw
On
the
ground.
picture where at the end, the reaction with Taco, where he was like, his jaw dropped, but then Dwight's right in front of him. Dwight is at his chest. That's Dwight's height compared to this dude.
Right.
And AG cleared him in two steps. There's just no logic to that score.
So there was a tweet by Fultz for the win at I like this team 11 that he put last night after the dunk contest, and it says, "My wife doesn't give a shit about basketball, the Magic, or Aaron Gordon. My fandom is probably a net negative in our relationship. The 2 biggest reactions she's ever had in any televised sporting event were Aaron Gordon dunk contests. That's all I need to know."
That's what I said. Oh,
So that's the perfect point, right? Because you could, like he said, not give a shit about basketball, and you watch Aaron Gordon dunk, and you're like, that's not average. That's not something the average person does. And to see something like that, right, from a judge's perspective, to see something like that, like this guy jumped over a guy who is almost 8 feet tall,
crazy.
right, off of a trot. He didn't even have a full sprint to get a jump going. And you're going to say, oh, he nicked his hand on the way down, so that's not as impressive? Come on.
On the way down.
Yeah, come on.
Right?
There's no way.
I want to know what's the real hate around Aaron Gordon, man. I don't get it. This is he go for 2 in the dunk contest.
It's not even hate. It's a Heat lifer, a Miami Heat legend, a future Hall of Famer that just went with his guy.
Yeah.
He's loyal.
Yeah.
Straight
He
tens
doesn't
across the
care
board,
because who's gonna check him? Who's gonna say, you messed up? That's not. What is he gonna say? Oh, you caught me? No, it's the judging is all based on perspective, and Dwayne Wade's perspective was that the Heat player did better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
some
when
of
you get subjective sport judging like this, I have friends that compete in wakeboarding that's subjective through judges, and it can be political sometimes.
definitely
it's
is.
tough. I mean, look at Olympic gymnastics. You hear horror stories about it. So, I mean, this is a fun fan thing. I think that it's 2 parts that he wasn't got his dues. But again, I think it really strikes a chord with us because of all the disrespect that we feel from the NBA and other teams through the years.
and you can't find that one NBA player that thinks otherwise. Some of the feedback from some of the players that tweeted out that night: Joel Embiid, AG got robbed again. # bullshit. Rudy Gobert, that was legendary, but damn, they did Aaron wrong again. Donovan Mitchell, one of the craziest dunk contests I've ever seen. Aaron Gordon and Jones did their thing. They both should have just won. Real talk. Don't believe it, but the aspect is AG still won, right? Jamal Crawford, Derrick Jones, he doesn't even believe it. Shaking my head. Mario Hezonja, People's Champ, 2 times. John Morant, judges are wilding. Karl Anthony Towns posted # dunk contest with a ski mask. Like the consensus
Highway
is
robbery, man. Highway robbery.
The consensus is this was AG's slam dunk contest. You robbed him first time before. If anything, should he have gotten the benefit of the doubt? Probably.
But you know what I
But he
respect
earned
about Zach LaVine? Zach LaVine came out afterwards with a quote. He said, "I don't feel like I deserve this. It should have been a tie." Jones Jr. is coming out and saying, I'm the best dunk contest participant ever. If you want to get it from me, come play me next year.
But what else?
What?
What else does he have? What else does he have?
All he did was the same thing. I kept telling Justin, it's the Levine thing all over again. Levine kept jumping from the free throw line and beating AG.
Yeah.
These two kept doing between the leg dunks.
Yeah,
the whole night.
We're talking about Zach LaVine jump from the inside the free throw line off a windmill.
No, that's right. But I'm saying like the dunks before that, it was just between the legs.
So
between the legs.
I feel in 2016, Aaron Gordon did get robbed, but it was Zach LaVine was
yeah.
like on his ass. He was right behind him.
Yeah.
There was no way that Derrick Jones was anywhere near
No.
him. Like to the point that Derrick Jones, he had that one dunk. I can't remember right now what it was, but my boy hit me up and he was like, "Yo, it's over." And I'm like, "Damn, that was
I
tough,
think it was
man.
off the
AG, don't mess
backboard
up."
between the legs.
Yeah.
AG, don't mess it up, don't mess it up. And then he comes back and does the off the side bounce pass from Markel, and it was like, "Yo, this dude is serious." So it's disappointing. As a Magic fan, it's disappointing because we kind of needed the confidence boost. At the same time, I'm interested to see how this impacts Aaron Gordon on the hardwood. Like, I want to see how his game is, his very first game back.
You know what? After you saw the responses from Magic players, I mean, you saw Vucevic, who never swears, never is like a dirty guy or talks dirty, nothing like that. He did it. Get the fuck out of here. Fournier, same thing. Like, you saw the reaction from the team. Terrence Ross.
Michael Carter Williams goes,
Yeah.
AG won't ever do the dunk contest again. Shaking my head. T. Ross, bro, you can have my trophy. I'm heated.
dunk
So I
Contests
think
don't
if,
deserve Aaron
I think
Gordon.
if anything, this might
love
bring the
that.
team together. It might make them play harder. And somebody posted, I forgot who it was on Twitter. They don't want to be the ones guarding Aaron Gordon on Friday on that first game back because again, I think it's personal now for
Gonna
him
take somebody's life
and for the team.
And not just that, so you see a picture of Derrick Jones, he doesn't look happy with the trophy, and there's nobody showing him love. No one's giving him
The
props.
arena was super quiet.
There's no shine,
And I think that's why
There's
his
none of that.
cockiness came out.
Right now, Aaron Gordon is, although he didn't win, he still won.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Gordon
Yeah.
was trending last night. And the whole entire basketball world was talking about Aaron Gordon. This dude just signed the face of the 361 company for his shoe brand. His shoe brand is all over the place now on live TV, national TV, slam dunk contest, the biggest stage of the night. And on top of that, he just dropped a new song. And the song is catchy.
It is catchy,
I
Justin.
don't care what you say, Justin.
It is.
catchy. Matter of fact, let me
His
play a
face is
little. I'm gonna
priceless
play a
right
little
now.
snippet.
ADMs in the bag, that's a bargain. One time for the fam out in Carson. Running through your jungle like I'm Tarzan. Not here for the talk of the arguing. AG going crazy, no guarding them.
Wanna see me go out, no problem. But they want said, get 'em, I got 'em. Haters been quiet, they silent. I know they Big Mac can't guard me. Shooting shots, wrist for the faucet. Can't comprehend why they wanna try me.
Justin, please tell me. At least give me some positive feedback.
It's
Be
I'm
honest.
not okay. I'm not gonna say it's a bad song. What the only point that I made when I first heard the song is that, and I'm gonna probably take a lot of hate for this. If you're a real hip hop person, right, and you follow the history of hip hop, I'm not talking about modern hip hop and rapping in triplets and all of this. I'm talking about the real culture of hip hop. That's not it. I mean, he had a couple of bars in it, and I'm not saying that his wordplay wasn't good or any of that. But just based on what I like in hip hop, that didn't do it for me.
But we're not expecting Aaron Gordon to be Jay-Z. We're not expecting him to out-rap Nas.
It's not Dame Dollar.
He ain't. No. Dame.
That was a joke, by the way.
That was
Let's not go
embarrassing.
there.
But cool. Let's bring it up. I think AG's song that he had with Mo was better than any song that I heard Dame Dollar perform.
I think so too. It's more catchy, man. It
was catchy.
I'm not looking at the bars.
What?
Listen,
I think I gotta go with
when I
Dame
look at-
Dollar, man.
Wait, you're saying that? Hold on. I don't know if you guys listen to Big Dollar, but you're telling me that Pull Up is better than any song on that album?
It's a more
No. You can't put that in that reference because you're saying it as if I've listened to every song on the album. I'm going based on the one song that I heard from Aaron Gordon, based on what I heard in the performance. The performance was terrible.
Stop it. Oh, the
That was
performance.
The performance. Granted, I haven't listened to not one song that Dame Dollar has. Right,
Okay.
not one song.
Okay.
Based on the performance, if I would have liked what I heard, I would have listened to it.
Yep.
I'm not going anywhere near a Dame Dollar nothing. I'm going to stick to what I know, and I'm going to stick to 4 Bar Fridays.
I'm gonna
That's it.
end it with this. on my playlist to run this morning when I was running my treadmill. AG was playing.
Listen, if you haven't
Yikes.
heard Aaron Gordon's song, definitely check it out. I was
Yes.
surprised. It exceeded my expectations.
I'm not
Aaron
saying
Gordon-
the song is trash.
Aaron
I'm not
Gordon-
saying that. I'm just saying that for what I like in hip hop, that song didn't do it for me.
You know what? It's a song for the new generation. It's a song for just catchiness. It's a song for just to be banging on to when you're at the gym, when you're hanging out. I think it's a good song for that. If you're comparing it to a real rapper like Nas, and then people know he's not doing that. He's just throwing a song out there just to get his name out there.
Yeah, but from a DJ perspective,
There you go.
the beat's nice. It's a club banger.
Exactly.
It's a club banger,
And that's
yeah.
what you
The
want.
hook-
The hook's catchy.
The hook's catchy. The beat's really nice.
So wait.
It's produced well. I mean, I've heard plenty of NBA pro athletes do different beats, and it was nice. I'd play that in the club.
There you go. So that's on you now, Joe.
So if you haven't heard the song, right, I'm just gonna read a little bit of the lyrics. Is it okay if I'm not gonna put it?
He's about to put you in a jail cell with those bars right now.
I'm not gonna rap it. I'm just gonna read it. Running through your jungle like I'm Tarzan. Not here for the talk or the arguing. AG going crazy, no guarding him.
But that's not true though.
That it doesn't have to be. Half the rappers lie about what they talk about.
True.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point.
It's just catchy. That's it. And you know what? For Aaron Gordon, because Aaron Gordon, as much as I do root for him, and I'm going to ignore the fact that he didn't want to sign my flag, he does have moments where he is cringy.
Yeah.
Mad cringy.
Super cringy.
The interview with Dwayne Wade and Shaquille O'Neal. That's
Cringy.
probably the reason why he gave him what he gave him. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if many people remembered it, but he did the weather. He joined a weather channel, and that was super cringy. He was dancing.
The
He
TikTok
did the whole
videos,
TikTok video.
cringy.
Like he has cringy moments, and I expected when I heard the song a cringy rap, and I didn't hear cringy. I
Yeah,
heard
it
a
wasn't.
really
It was.
good
Yeah,
song.
it for sure wasn't cringy. It wasn't cringy.
Would you call what was that basketball movie you was just in? Uncle Drew?
Uncle
Or-
Drew.
I thought he did good.
I
Yeah,
thought
I
he
thought
did
that-
pretty
yeah,
good
that
too.
was-
So
that was
that
good,
wasn't
too.
cringy though.
No, it wasn't cringy at all. I thought he did
I
well.
think his
I'm
social
actually-
interactions are cringy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that because I enjoyed watching the movie. I thought everyone that was a part of it did really well. I was actually surprised that the nickname Casper didn't last longer. Like I thought he could have did something with it. I thought it was interesting. This is a side note.
I think if he picks up his play and plays like he's been playing in February, maybe Casper six around. But so far, we haven't seen.
It should have been Casper because sometimes his game is spooky.
Wow. He's stealing one of my
So
jokes.
let's make a take of this of fans. Let's get behind our guy. Let's get behind this team
Yeah,
again.
we have to.
and put people on blast that's doing us wrong.
Yeah.
I know I'm wearing my AG jersey to the game on Friday. I gotta represent, man. This
No,
guy.
I gotta keep my signed Fournier jersey. I'm
I
never
think
taking
he'll get a
Listen.
standing ovation Friday.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been
he'll
hard
get-
on
he'll get some
AG.
respect.
You guys know that we've been hard on AG in this podcast. We've been talking about trading him. We've been talking about being disappointed. All valid points. But right now, man, I think he deserves our support. He put on a show for the city of Orlando. He did an amazing job, and unfortunately, he got robbed again. And for that reason, we gotta stick up for him. And not for nothing, he's playing really good basketball right now. The best of the season right now in February. The team
Best of his
needs-
career, actually.
Yeah, so I mean, he's doing his thing. So why not support him? I think it's a perfect time. And again, my take on all this is the team will rally around this and play really well after the break.
And we had one game that was on national television. So he was prime time.
Yeah,
He was the main event. He was everywhere. And the fact that he did it wearing our City Edition uniforms
and by the way,
also,
people
I
like
thought
that
was
jersey a
amazing.
lot on Twitter. I saw people were liking
Did
that
you?
jersey a lot.
Yo, I'm a big fan. Like honestly, if I'm really hoping that they stick to it, the whole space uniform stuff was
Nah.
terrible.
I
This
think
whole
it's weird,
orange
right?
concept,
Because
I really like.
AG has like a star quality about him.
He does.
If his game would match, I think he could be a huge star in the NBA. But sadly, at least up until now, he just hasn't taken that leap. But if AG could take that leap, I think that there's enough money and backing behind him, and his athleticism is gonna make it so that he could become a superstar. But his game has to catch up.
You know, and I really like the fact that he brought Markelle Fultz out there to do his what I believe is the best dunk of the dunk contest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool that he was out there with How'd you guys feel about Dwight Howard bringing out Jameer Nelson? How did that feel?
That was cool.
Yeah?
It was just not the same dunk, unfortunately.
It wasn't it? But I thought it was.
But it was nice.
neat.
When I
He's,
saw
a little,
Jam-
he's a little older now.
when I
you
saw
know?
Jameer,
It's always pretty cool to see a Magic OG around. I think,
Yeah.
in general.
and it's funny because Jameer had a podcast with the Magic recently that he did, and he talked about all the negative stuff about Dwight and how he's the reason why the team didn't stick together. So I kind of found it interesting that he would call on Jameer to be there.
Because you know what that means? That means everything he said was true. He wasn't lying about any of it.
Yeah,
all
that's true.
accurate. But Aaron Gordon is obviously the talk of the town. So we're gonna jump into our juice and more Aaron Gordon news. So recently, this is a report coming from Sean Devaney. Executives expect Aaron Gordon back on the trading block this summer. They were trying and they tried hard to get something done with him at the trade deadline, and it looks like the Suns, the Wolves, and the Warriors are among the teams that inquired about Aaron Gordon. There were talks that the Magic were really interested in a player of Kelly Oubre, so I would imagine that there was some talks in between the two of them. Not sure exactly what was involved or what was asked for, but you would have to believe that Aaron Gordon, Kelly Oubre, there was something there.
I think that it's something we'll hear more about in the draft.
Yeah, I think recently I heard something that Tyler Johnson was part of those talks before he was bought out by the Suns. I do, as much as we're talking about AG and his star quality and all of these things, I do think that for this team to progress, especially if we're gonna kind of take on JI as a full-time kind of player, I don't believe that Isaac and AG can coexist. So because of that, I do think AG gets moved this summer.
I think it's time for something to happen. And unfortunately, I think it might be AG. Now, if he keeps up playing well over the next few months,
they'll move JI? No,
they won't. They will just keep them together longer. Because I feel if they can figure out how to get AG going, they just will try next year again with JI on the roster, how they can make it work. Then that leads to other ideas. The whole Fournier situation, what to do with Vooch. But it's tough, man. Like, again, I see why they want to move AG. I was all down for it. But then when he plays well, like he's been doing lately, it makes you just think about it twice. Because
And he's been playing really good in just his last 7 games. So this is something that Delando on Twitter had posted. But Aaron Gordon is averaging 19.5 points a game, 8.4 rebounds, and 4.7 assists in his last 7 games. Gordon is shooting 45% from the field and 41% from the three-point line.
And I think he's playing within his strength. He's not shooting too many threes. He's really attacking the basket. He's getting a lot of offensive rebounds. He's showing his power underneath the rim, and that's the best version of Aaron Gordon. He's just down there, just getting offensive rebounds. He's just down there, just pounding the ball. He's not being too much of a ball handler. He's not spending too much time on the 3-point line, and I think that's the Aaron Gordon we need in order for us, to progress this year, especially with Jonathan Isaac being out.
And that's what he said. He had a quote earlier, 2 weeks ago, had a quote saying that he was going to go back to being the AG that they drafted, the Magic drafted.
Right.
Ever since then, these numbers came up. So I don't know if Clifford and him had a heart-to-heart and then, listen, this is what we need from you. But hey, he's producing. He's playing well.
I think he refocused.
Yeah.
I could see it. I was at the game with the Detroit game, and I was watching him really closely because all the criticism, and you could see him on defense really putting some big effort in, and he was holding himself accountable to some mistakes, which I don't typically see him do. And so I think he's refocused.
And he hit some really clutch shots in that game. His shot looks much better.
It does.
It looks much better. Just the wrist action, just alone. Like he was flicking the shot before and just kind of throwing it up there. Now he has a nice little follow through to it. Again, I've been kind of noticing those things on him, and it looks much cleaner. So that could go a long way. If he can hit his shots consistently.
So do you guys think that the new AG per se is here to stay, or?
Well, we'll see. 7 games is a good sample size of being able to see it. So Michael Jordan would come up with random things just to get him upset and get him amped, get him hyped for the game. What's more hyped and amped do you need after what just happened on the national stage? I think that you incorporate that type of level of motivation with how well he's been playing.
Yeah.
And I think we might see a dangerous Aaron Gordon when he comes back.
And let's not forget the Markelle effect. Markelle is finally playing like a point guard. He's finally getting more assists per game. So I think Markelle's also getting the ball in the right spots to AG now, getting to know him better. And that'll go a long way too. Vooch should be averaging a lot more points. I mean, he's missing wide open looks off Markelle passes too. So if those shots just go down, this team could be a lot more dangerous.
I think Vooch is also centering his game around the 3-point shot a lot more.
Yeah.
I think last season he played more in the paint.
Yeah.
Try to get those easy buckets. And I feel like now he's getting comfortable in just trailing the offense and just shooting threes whenever he's left open.
Yeah.
And then our team is also getting a little healthier. So Roy Perry of the Orlando Sentinel, he reported that DJ Augustine is expected back right after the All-Star break. So having that, the primary second-string point guard back in does two things, right? It kind of levels us back out, provides a shooting, and then also allows us to be able to have MCW kind of help out on the wing also.
Yep.
That could also mean seeing DJ Augustine and MCW back in the same lineup, but
It might also mean Iwandu out of the rotation again.
that might also mean Iwandu out of the rotation, which I'm not looking forward to see because he's been playing really well.
He has.
Yeah, he has.
It's a confidence booster for him. I think it's important for him to keep playing.
He's been shooting it really well too. He's been making his threes. He's been hitting his mid range.
He doesn't make mistakes, man.
Yeah.
So do you think?
He's been shooting. That's the whole
shooting.
point. He's been shooting. He typically passes.
So with DJ coming back, right? You would think, obviously in the second unit, DJ for sure, it would be DJ, T. Ross,
MCW
MCW, Bamba for sure.
and Gary Clark?
But what happens with James Ennis, Wes Iwundu?
I think Ennis starts, man, after the break. That's
Really?
that's something that
I like Ennis.
yeah. I think he starts after the break.
He's a big body, can stretch the floor, can go in there, rebound. He's gritty. I like Ennis a lot.
And
And Van Gundy,
move,
Van Gundy said that. Sam Van Gundy had a quote earlier this week saying that he thinks that the Magic will start him.
now move Aaron Gordon to the 4, which
Yeah.
I think we all want to see as well.
Right.
Absolutely.
So because James Ennis is a true 3.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So
now
yeah,
bump
that works.
Gordon to the 4.
And he can shoot it, man. He's athletic. He can shoot it. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So for this All-Star special that we have, we're going to jump into a new segment. We're going to provide season award predictions. And we're going to do this. Did we decide that we're doing this just Magic base?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So who do we have? Who is your current MVP of this team? Justin, you're not allowed to go first because we know your answer.
It's a tough one. I may surprise people with my choice, and that is Markelle Fultz.
MVP?
MVP for me.
MVP.
MVP.
Most valuable player.
MVP.
Okay.
You know why?
Tell me.
I've been a die-hard, watch every game, go to every game, Magic fan for 4 years. It's the first time I can truly trust a point guard running the offense. And not only that, truly putting on an effort on both ends of the court. Just a player that's driving this team. It's Markelle Fultz. Unfortunately, Vooch has not been consistent this year. Fournier has not been. I mean, you guys know I'm not a big Fournier fan as it is, but Fournier has his good games, but not really. He's the one guy that I'm like, he's been the most consistent player out there every night. So for me, has been Markelle Fultz.
I'm going to actually agree with you on that. I like Markelle too.
There you go, Whit.
I know
Help your boy
everyone
out.
hates being
They're all laughing here, but
I
hey,
know.
I'm not laughing.
I would
That's
tell
my
you-
take. Supporting you.
because when he's creating an attack in the rim, the teams have to respond, and that opens up our shooters and it also allows us to get up and run, and that's when we play our best. And I think I'll have to give Markelle the MVP also.
For me, I mean, it's kind of cringy to say, but I'm gonna have to go with Evan Fournier just because Vooch is not having the year he had last year. So if you're comparing two players, I mean, you got Vooch and you got Fournier, right? They're the most two focused offensive players on our offensive end. So then you got to really just pick one or the other. Obviously, Vooch is not having the year he had. I got to go with Fournier. He's having a better season than he had last year. Yes, he's gotten us games where he won it himself. And, yeah, there was a few games where he maybe probably costed us. But I got to go with him, man. I just feel like he's done the most for us. I would have loved to say Fultz. Actually, if Isaac was probably still playing and he never got hurt, I would have maybe threw Isaac in there just because he does so much for us on the defensive end and he changes the game for us a lot. So I would have just said Isaac if he was still healthy.
Mark, you're a smart man.
It was a cringy pick. I'm not gonna lie.
So I have to say Fournier. I mean, he's averaging 18.7 points per game, 2.7 rebounds per game, 3.2 assists per game. Those are really good numbers. I think he's leading the team in a lot of those categories. Evan is one of our most consistent scorers, go-to guy. Yeah, there's really not much of an argument to make. You guys know, what I think Evan brings to the table. But yeah, MVP on this team
Evan
so
Fournier?
far, Evan Fournier.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
I think it really depends on what you're looking at, right? Because your stats may be accurate, Justin. But if we're going just based on stats, I'm not saying that this is my pick. I'm just going based on stats. Do you want to pull it up while I review it?
No.
Okay, if we're going based on stats only, the team leader in points is Nikola Vucevic with 19 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
The team leader in rebounds with 10.8 rebounds a game is Nikola Vucevic.
Right.
As of right now, statistically, your MVP is Nikola Vucevic. I'm not saying that that's my pick. I'm just going by stats. If I had to choose, I would say Evan Fournier, 100%, because I can't see us really winning without him.
And
right?
this is
'Cause
most valuable to your team, right?
Most valuable,
Most
absolutely.
valuable.
Because he's really our only major threat outside of the obvious, right? He's one that for sure, 100%, he's going to go in there, he's going to score some points. Markelle Fultz, as much as I love his game, as much as I think he is such a need for this team, he is a little inconsistent. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. I'm not expecting for him to be at that level yet. It's his first season back. He just played a whole entire NBA season in the total amount of games that
3
he's
years.
played.
This is his rookie season still.
Yeah, exactly. So I honestly think that Jonathan Isaac could have been that guy.
Oh, for sure.
I really
For sure.
agree.
I feel like his offensively it wasn't there, but with time, you would see that improve. And the fact that it's been taken away due to injury is kind of, it's a little heartening. But as of right now, statistically, is Nikola Vucevic my pick? I would go with Evan Fournier. See, you guys are not by yourself, and you gave Mark a compliment. I didn't.
But
get a
now you
compliment.
see.
Yo,
Yeah, man, come on. He
Well,
gets some
actually,
love, too.
I kind of expected you to say Evan.
interesting.
Wow.
All right,
Expect you to
so,
say that.
so who's your most improved on this Magic roster?
Most improved, I'm between Birch and Isaac, but I'm going to say Isaac just because I see him stepping up big time defensively and offensively. He started before his injury. He was attacking the rim, getting on the open court, defending most positions, helping offside defensively big time, which I didn't see his first couple seasons. And he's starting to shoot the ball more with confidence. Long way to go before it's a really solid shot, but to me, he's improved the most.
For me, it's got to be Jonathan Isaac as well. But right before he went down, he was leading the league in blocks. He was leading the league in steals. We were at top of the NBA in defensive rating as well. So he left his impact for sure. Offensively, I don't think he was doing too bad. I think he was a great improvement compared to last year. When Aaron Gordon went down, he took over offensively. He had a few games when he scored 20-plus points. I think he had one game this season where he almost dropped 30, or his career high was 26, 27 around there. Like I said, injury took his season this year, but I say he's our most improved player.
How are we not saying our most improved player is not Evan Fournier? He was terrible last season. He was bad.
I was thinking about that.
Justin haven't spoke yet.
I was
I
thinking
know.
about that.
I had to say it
yet.
before he said because I know he was going to say it. Is that what you're going to say?
No.
Okay, perfect. Evan Fournier was at the bottom. Like, he must have been our,
He was
eighth, ninth most
He was bad.
contributor.
He would have won last year.
Well, at
most
the end of
disciplined
last year,
player.
he was still averaging 15.5 points.
But it was still bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was
terrible.
his worst statistical year, but even at his worst statistical year, he was better than a lot of shooting guards.
If
in
we
the
had a
league.
most disappointing award last year, Fournier would have been on top of that.
Right.
For sure.
Justin, how are you
So-
arguing with me with the compliment?
So
Like you're debating me to take him out of the best most
because
improved.
I think Evan has been pretty consistent throughout his career.
He was trash last season.
He was not trash last
was
season.
trash.
I think what happened with Evan last season is because his averages were
Defending him.
lesser than his averages were under last year, but they were still relatively close to what they are. So I guess my most improved player is Markelle Fultz. The reason why that is because this man went from not playing at all to playing this year in what you could say is his true rookie year, has a career high of 25 points in a game, has had multiple double-double games, has had multiple 20-plus point games, has kind of unlocked Aaron Gordon in a way that we've never seen throughout his 6 years here. His impact on the team is being felt. And when Markelle is not on the court, the team plays differently. So I definitely think he's the most improved. He's the biggest surprise. If anybody would have told me last season, because anybody who knows what I felt when Markelle was traded to Orlando, I think people were quick to jump on the Markelle wagon, and that was not me. I actually didn't think Markelle would play for this team. So to see that happen, and go 11 months without playing basketball and kind of returning to form as quickly as he had, or as he has, that's definitely most improved in my opinion.
It's got to be Evan Fournier for me. Again, to your point and Mark, so just the shooting alone, 43% field goal shooting last year, 46 this year, 34% three-point shooting last year, 40.8 this year. Perfect. That alone does it for me. This team needed shooting badly, especially from your shooting guard, I would think. That alone makes it for me. So Evan Fournier is my guy.
Al, you are a smart man.
I know, man. I know.
Yeah. Man, damn it.
But the same compliment for the same player, so we're good.
Yeah.
So who's your sixth man?
This might be too obvious.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to go with the obvious one.
Me too.
Okay.
I want to hear this.
I'm going based on my personal objective and my perspective.
I know who you're going to say.
I think where you're going.
I know where you're going to go.
I'm going MCW.
Yep.
Yes.
That's mine too.
Yes.
Michael Carter Williams.
Read
This
my
dude
mind.
was out of the league until the Magic brought him on board, and we brought him on board as a second string point guard. He put on 15 pounds in order to be adaptable to playing and help on the wing position.
Yep.
This dude is a hustler. He's a grinder. He's the epitome of what I believe our culture should be, which is heart and hustle. And I hate the fact that we still don't utilize it and push that as part of our culture. But he is that guy. He is jumping on the ground. This dude ends up being bloody at least once a season. This dude is scrappy. He may not be the best shooter, not even close, but man, this dude at least tries. He does the right moves, does the right plays.
But what I will say in reference to that is, now that he understands his role, he's also expanding outside of that. He's taking threes more often, and he's actually hitting them more often than he did before. MCW is one of those guys, man. I love MCW. He's, like you said, he's gritty. He hustles. He gives extra effort on defense. Literally never gives up on a play. There isn't a time that I'll watch a Magic game and I'm like, man, MCW's effort tonight was terrible. Like, it just doesn't happen. I haven't seen it. That last game before the All-Star break against the Pistons was kind of one of those games that did it for me. He didn't score. And typically in this league, if you don't score, it's like, that guy's irrelevant. But without scoring, realizing that his shot wasn't going in, he kind of impacted the game in other ways. He finished with 0 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, And I think that's one of the things that's probably missing in the league today, is one of those guys that is adaptable. You see guys that struggle with their offense and they just keep shooting, taking bad shots, and kind of just give up on themselves. MCW is like, you know what? My shot's not falling, but guess what? One thing that I can always control is effort, and I'm just going to make it work. I'm going to help this team in a different way.
Yeah, turn a defense to offense. That's great.
Yeah, and he was such a steal and a bargain. This dude is still getting. He's only getting paid $3.1 million.
Yeah, it's minimal,
and we
right?
utilize him, and we can utilize him in so many different ways. He would be a player that I would not be mad at if he stayed with us for a minute.
No, he could stay
for
with
a
us
good minute
for his career, as far as I'm concerned.
For sure. So I'm the same way, by the way. I don't have nothing much else to add. MCW is my guy.
For me, it's going to be Mo Bamba. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke, guys. I agree with the MCW thing. I'm going to go with T. Ross. I know statistically he's not having the best season of his career, but at the end of the day, something that this team lacks is that go-to scorer, that guy that can just get his buckets. And I know he hasn't done too much of it this year compared to last year, but he's still that guy that he changed a lot of games for us this year. He's able to come in the game when all our starters are out, and he's still able to put buckets. If it's not for him, this team will be in deep trouble at times.
So this wasn't one of the categories, but I kind of wanted to throw it in there, throw a little curveball. But
Can
go
I
ahead
say-
with.
Can I say mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was actually going to say T. Ross too. Statistically, he's our third leading scorer. And again, you get on the court, the teams have to adjust to you. And behind him, I was debating between Michael Carter-Williams and Kareem Birch. Birch, when he gets in the game, he makes impact defensively. People are going to hate on me a little bit about it. I don't care. But he's a tough, big guy in the lane. Helps us out. So you talk 6-man impact. He's one of those dudes.
Okay. I think you meant Ken Birch, but we're all on the same page. So the curveball, right? So I wanted to. It wasn't one of the award categories, but I kind of wanted to gauge what you guys were thinking of, kind of the team. So coaching staff included, who is the biggest letdown halfway through the season for you guys?
Biggest letdown.
The underperformer of the first half.
I think when you first asked the question, we immediately jump into Steve Clifford, but for me, it's Aaron Gordon, just because my expectations for him was so high. You know, he's still an added contributor, right? He's not playing as well as we expected, because we're expecting this season for him to make the leap and be an all-star caliber player. Mm-hmm. At the beginning of the season, I said two things were going to happen. One, Aaron Gordon was going to be an all-star, and two, he was going to win the slam dunk contest. Neither of those things happened.
Well, one of those things happened. He's the people's champ. We know.
He's the people's champ.
AG, again, same thing. I think we expected so much out of him, at least 18, 20 points a game. Just the little lift on offense hasn't happened. It's starting to show now, so hopefully the next 2 months he'll end the season strong. But up to those points that we're recording, February 16th, that hasn't quite happened. So AG is my guy for that.
For me, you guys said all the reasons already. AG, we expect him to be maybe our number 2 option by then now. Even on the defensive end, I mean, he hasn't really made too much of an impact as well. He's supposed to be a defensive stopper. He's had great performances. He guarded LeBron very well when we played LeBron. But I would have to say AG.
In my opinion, it's Vooch. I was expecting him to be a lot tougher in the lane defensively. He, to me, is like a matador, letting the bull run but right by him defensively in the lane.
Yeah.
His points to me and his rebounds, in my opinion, they're part of his stats. He's a stat filler, but I feel like he has no impact. To me, he's soft. Like, in fact, my nickname for him is Couch, because he's soft as my couch.
That's funny. Gotta say T.
Yeah, my biggest letdown is Coach Clifford. I think when the season started, I expected a lot more. I expected him to be able to adjust with this team, grow with this team, change kind of what he typically does, and that hasn't happened. Like the other game, I think it was against Detroit, down the stretch, he brought Terrence Ross into to mix with the starting guys, right, down the stretch,
Right.
and that was entirely unexpected to me, right, because Clifford has lived and died by his rotations. And I know we've made this a big point in the past, but almost 3/4 of the season done, and he still hasn't evolved with this team, and I think that's concerning. And then when you hear Kemba Walker say that Cliff took him to the next level, it's like, that's awesome. It worked for you, but I personally am not seeing it.
I think you're seeing a little bit of it with Markelle too. Markelle, the last 2 games had 19 assists with no turnovers. Mm-hmm. That's what he wants his point guards to do. Just direct the floor, be the leaders, don't mess it up, don't turn it over. So I think you're seeing a little bit of that translate to Markelle. But I agree with you. The rotations, the lack of change, the lack of being dynamic as to what's happening on the game. We can all agree. We talked about it long and hard earlier in the season, but I mean, I agree. I think that there's just a lack of adapting to change with him.
Yeah, the other night the game is coming down to the wire. I was screaming at Cliff, take Vooch out. I thought he was hurting us. You can hear. I'm sure you can hear me. And he, to his credit, sticks with his guys. But if you watch the video, you guys know where my seats are. I'm standing up, my hands up on my head.
On that three?
On that three, I'm like, no. And then he made it. I'm like, oh. I said a few prayers and thank the Lord above for that going in. But
yeah, because
if he missed it,
he had missed maybe like the last 6 he had missed or something like that crazy. Like
he was 0 for 6, went 1 for 7 that game on 3-point line, and I was like, get him out of there. And to his credit, he stuck with him and he got it, and that's where I landed in that decision. But I could see your point directly.
So this team has a really nice break after the All-Star weekend. Our first game after the break isn't till Friday against the Dallas Mavericks. So we'll be taking on Porzingis and Luka Doncic. Final thoughts?
Well, that's gonna be our game of the week, right?
It's the only game of the week.
It's the only game of the week.
Predictions.
So are we doing predictions for that one?
Yeah.
Start off, Al.
I'm going win. I'm going first game. Aaron Gordon after the slam dunk contest. He's going off. I'm going win.
I'm going to go with the win as well. I think that the team will rally behind AG. Plus, on top of that, I think they have a nice break that they needed. They'll come back playing strong.
Yeah, you got DJ Augustine coming back. Hopefully, Terrence Ross, Evan Fournier, Wesley Iwundu, and I guess what we just saw now, Paul George. They're out on Turks and Caicos, and they're not eating and getting slow. So we'll see.
I think it's going to be a win for me. I think we have a lot to look forward to. I think this break, I feel like the Magic players can maybe look back of how they started last year in All-Star break and just try to, just finish strong. Let's go for that 7th spot. 6th spot might be out of reach already, but let's go in there. Let's start off strong. Let's get back to being that gritty Magic team we were last year. I know we don't have Isaac this to finish off the year, but let's get back to being gritty. I want us to all play like MCW.
I'm going to take a loss on this one. I think their shooters are too much for us with their size. As much I want to cheer guys on with the energy and the momentum of the slam dunk in the weekend, I think they're just too big and they're too good of shooters on the perimeter. We struggle there.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a win. I think the team rallying around Aaron Gordon means something. I think the team recognizing that it's kind of us against everybody else is a galvanizing feeling. It'll make everybody feel like they're in it together. And I think for a large part of this season that communication, that kind of brotherhood was missing. Or it might have not been missing, but it wasn't apparent in the games. And I think AG getting robbed, in the dunk contest is going to bring those guys together. And like Al said, the rest is going to come in handy as well. I think Markelle and AG both traveling to Chicago is a bonding experience. It'll help their relationship grow. So I think we'll win, and I think that this will be the start of a winning streak, actually. I think Orlando's going to pull together and surprise some teams.
All right, so really great episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and it's a wrap. Peace.
Deuces.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the OZone Podcast, the voice of Magic fans.
Be sure to visit our website, theozonepod.com, and remember to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on all your favorite podcast listening platforms.